Hello guys, and I hope you had a very good Sunday, but I wanted to do a video about answering your questions again, to try to finish up most of the questions that you did on that post that we did some days ago, right? So I'm gonna answer some of them, and I hope you enjoy. So let's get going. The first one is from Plagus, or something like that. What do you think is the best option for Italy to get a second subtree? Would be hypocritical. I don't know what you mean about that, but the idea here is that I think the best option for Italy would be Romania, right? And I definitely think that Italy deserves to have another subtree. Italy is a country that doesn't have a lot of options, and with Romania, for example, we could have extra options there for aircraft and for tanks that could be added. I think it would definitely help that nation, and yeah, that would be the answer in my opinion. The next one is from Gota War Thunder. I know I'm late, but do you think we'll ever see the A9R in the game? No, I don't think so. If you don't know, the A9R is pretty much an evolution of the A9M. You know, the main thing here is that it has an imaging infrared seeker, so it's much better, you know, IRCCM and everything, and it's just a very modern missile. But I gotta be honest, this thing didn't went into production, and eventually what it went into production with a similar-ish design was the A9X, right? So I think we are gonna go straight to the A9X once the time comes. Osmo asks, when is the next update coming and you should get some rest? Well, I am getting a lot of rest. The dogs are taking a lot out of me, but we are managing. And when is the update coming? I had a video about it. I think it will be in around 1 month, more or less, a little bit more, a little bit less, maybe, probably a little bit more, with the first dev blocks coming in around 10 days, in my opinion. Around, I don't know exactly, but you should expect them around that. The next one is from Queen Tester 8088. Do you think War Thunder, specifically RRB, needs more game modes? If so, can you describe a game mode you would like to see? Yes, for sure we need more game modes. And what I would like to see is just a better, more open map, but not in the sense of the size of the map itself, on the objectives themselves for air to ground. I think, of course, we need as asymmetric as possible map to be balanced, but at the same time, asymmetric, you know, targets on the ground and everything would make people, you know, do different things, like we had with the Golan Heights map, right? So at the end of the day, we just don't have rewards for doing that, but I think that would be a help. Would it change completely the game? No, it wouldn't, because at the end of the day, people want to do basically a deathmatch in RRB, and I think Gaijin wants that to happen as well. So at the end of the day, it's expecting too much from War Thunder to have very realistic game modes in RRB, because it's not the proposal of that game mode and that thing. I definitely think that with World War mode and some other things with RRB, we should see better and more realistic environments, and with more asymmetrical and better game modes like that. But it's definitely kind of a sidebar to probably what we have with RRB. But there are definitely stuff that we need in RRB that could be better, especially in the air to ground. Twif asks, how do you think Gaijin could fix the grind? Well, I gotta be honest, there are many ways. I'm not gonna say every single one of them. In my opinion, one of them that could be a great thing is for aircraft, specifically in this case, would be less variants of vehicles and more modifications on these vehicles, substituting the modifications that we have. So what we have right now, it's getting a new engine, but you already got a new engine, you know, and it's kind of weird. You're just basically de-nerfing the aircraft, right, with a modification. What I expect that would be a very good option is that loadouts with a different BR, meaning, you know, throughout the aircraft's history, for example, different loadouts that it used, changing the BR, and you getting those modifications with the mod. instead of having multiple variants in different BRs and stuff. So I think that would decrease the grind a little bit on the aircraft themselves, and it would make the modification grind a little bit less demanding, because even if you are stock, you already have what the aircraft would have at a certain period of time, and not really like a stock grind that the aircraft is basically nerfed on purpose, and you should denerf it with a grind. I think that would help in two ways the grind, especially for aircraft. Just Jake 1038 asks, to which line of the USSR Tech Tree could the Su-30 SM be added? Well, I gotta be honest, I'm pretty sure that it will be added in some of the lines that we already have with Sukhoi. So the two ones that I have to say is probably the Su-27 SM one or the Su-34 one. I kind of doubt that it will be under the Su-25, but who knows? It wouldn't make a lot of sense, but you know, I don't know. I have a feeling that it will be maybe together with the Su-34, but I don't know. I might be completely wrong. And we're gonna wrap it up with two questions. One is from Pop3809. Do you think it's possible for a Latin American tech tree subtree to be added? Yeah, most definitely. Probably not gonna be the most, you know, the one that they're doing in the fastest way possible. I think, although in Latin American we do have a lot of players, including myself, right? But at the end of the day, there are other nations out there that people are asking more. I see a lot of people asking for the Koreas, for example. I see a lot of people asking for Yugoslavia. I see a lot of people asking for Eastern European countries in general, you know. Poland, even in Ukraine and some others, you know. So I have a feeling that those countries will be added first because of the community asking for them. But I'm pretty sure that eventually we will have some sort of subtree or even a full-fledged tech tree with Latin American. I hopefully expect that at least, right? And the last question is from Kuro Guber, which is a question that I love very much. If you could add one plane to the game, what plane would it be? Well, it's impossible to add this aircraft. It's honestly impossible. But if I could choose any aircraft in the world, it would be the MiG 1.44, right? I love that thing. It's impossible to be added because it kind of became a technology demonstrator. It was pretty much one of the first, or it was the first prototype of the what it would be the fifth generation jet of the Soviet Union. I love that thing, the way that it looks, what it was actually capable of doing, in theory, especially, obviously, because he didn't end the development. The real life, like real production model would be completely different than the prototype. The nose would be different, the inlets would be different, a lot of the surfaces would be reworked and everything. So, yeah, but it's one of those what-ifs that I would really love to see in game. Again, impossible to add. Why? Because it didn't have everything that it was going to have if it entered in production. So it's very different from the Yak 141, for example, that was accepted into production already, right? This aircraft was in the early stages of development when the Soviet Union collapsed, right? So it would need to be, you know, the Soviet Union would need to collapse in like in the 2000s for the MiG-144 to be something that would actually be feasible to be added to the game. But since that, you know, that didn't happen, the MiG cannot be added, right? So it doesn't have weapons, it doesn't have a radar, but I just love the idea of a Soviet, not Russian, Soviet fifth generation jet. It's one of the what ifs that I would love to see in game, but again, kind of impossible to add because it basically became a technology demonstrator afterwards. And yeah, it's kind of sad, but you know, what can you do, right? And basically this is it, guys. I have a lot more questions from you guys. Are you a fan of Senna? Of course, yes, obviously. I root for McLaren in Formula 1 just because of it. But yeah, there's so many questions that I'm doing here, but I will do probably another video because the first one was kind of good. A lot of people were, you know, happy to see the answering. So I'm gonna do another one like this. If it goes well, I'm gonna do the last one probably, or take a little bit more time between the answers video. But yeah, basically this is it. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you guys. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye.